Right, it's time for a summing up. Let me just turn the volume down. See how easy it is to just reach over and turn the volume down when you've got that assigned to your, to adjust your volume. Okay, summing up the duet. Well, it's £325, okay, and that's out of budget audio interface territory. I mean, budget audio interfaces tend to be USB. So the end user is sitting there saying, well, why should I spend $325 on the Duet when I could use, another product, which will give me preamps and line inputs, and will work with my Mac. Why should I use the Duet? Well, the Duet is a bit more expensive than budget in-out devices, but I think what you have to do is, $325 is not expensive, like super expensive product territory, right? It's not budget, but it's still easily within the reach of, the decent bedroom studio, the decent home studio, right? So I think the best way to evaluate it is to add up all the bits you get, add it all up, right, and then see how much value you're getting for your money. Okay, now first of all, watch this, right? Let me just turn off the phantom power, make sure I do that before I unplug the mic. Okay, now, I'm going to plug the mic in now. Look at this nice, chunky, good solid click, yeah? And then on the line inputs and outputs, it's the same. Watch, plug in. Here we go. Oops, that cable's going for a walk. Here we go, look. Listen to this. Yeah, nice solid, look at that, nice solid click when you plug in, yeah? It's the same on the outputs, yeah? Nice solid click when you plug in. These sockets are snug and firm and really solid, you know what I mean? I've already said in one of the other videos in this series that if you get all these cluster cables and hold them, they're heavy. And you've seen how they click in, they're robust, they're really heavy duty. I mean, they're the heaviest duty connectors I've ever seen on a cluster cable. And they're heavier duty than most sockets that you get on, like built into panels on synths and things like that and effects. They're not military quality, but they're heading in that direction. I mean, they're really, really heavy in weight, robust, and they've got a really tight, firm click when you plug plugs in and stuff, right? And they're really well labelled as well. So first of all, you've got high quality connectors. Secondly, that's feeding into this Duet unit, and the Duet unit caters for all different types of inputs that you could possibly need in a studio scenario without getting really specialist. You've got XLR mic input with or without full 48 volt phantom power. None of your 12 volt phantom power cut down stuff, yeah? And you've got the phase reverse, both on the line inputs and on XLR mic input. Then you've got the two XLR line level settings offering +4 and -10 to bring line levels in on your XLR inputs. So you've got great flexibility for inputting anything you like on really high quality connectors, and then that all feeds into the Duet. And then you've got two really, really high quality preamps. Now, I've listened to these preamps with a variety of different mics. Nothing super expensive. I don't want to use some mega mic that will sound brilliant even in a fairly basic preamp. And we want to keep within budget territory for home studio users. But what I can say about it is, pretty much what every other reviewer has said about it. The mic preamps are, and the line preamps as well, of course, but really you're more interested in what they're like with mics. Pristine, yeah, pristine quality, really smooth, really quiet, and beautifully crisp without being harsh at all. Everyone agrees they're great preamps, capable of allowing you to make really professional recordings. So, two fantastic mic preamps. Then add to that a really nice firewire interface and Apogee quality converters. Now just add that up for a minute. What would you pay for two really good little preamps? Not mega expensive esoteric items, but two really good preamps and a firewire interface with converter, a 2496 firewire interface with quality converters up to the standard of these Apogee ones. What would that cost you? Then remember the rotary encoder. It will provide you with 4 MIDI controllers, right? which is, you know, a godsend. It allows you to do all your MIDI control, albeit not in a fantastically heavy-duty way, but it's there. You can do MIDI control without needing to drag a controller unit in. So you've got 4 MIDI controllers. Then remember that thing when you press and hold down for 2 seconds on the rotary encoder to mute the outputs, and then hold down again for 2 seconds to unmute. And remember the permutations in the control panel, the Maestro control panel. So you're also getting like a sort of an output routing matrix control built into the Duet as well. There's no need to have a little line mixer there to turn the speakers up and down when you're recording, you know, to shut the speakers down and adjust your headphone levels and things. You've got a monitoring matrix built in to mute and unmute in any configuration you could want to cover every eventuality, either on location with a laptop or in your home studio. And you've got a good quality 1/4 inch output for your headphones, and it's loud, not wimpy like some headphone outputs are. You know, it'll go nice and loud, yeah. And that's all built into this gorgeous little, you know, housing, which is in this lovely anodised aluminium, and it's small, but it's not like sort of ultra. It's not heavy, but it's not sort of so lightweight that it's, you know, you touch a cable and it's dragging around, it'll fall off the table or something. You know, it's small and compact and bijou, and perfect for transporting around to do location recording. But in the home studio, well, you know, in a desktop setup, it sits on your workbench and it doesn't take up too much space. But when you're doing everyday work and you've got it set to control the outputs, you just reach over and you just adjust the volume of your headphones or speakers. It's just so easy, and you've got metering on the front, and you can switch without going into software. You can switch between inputs and the output, you know, to adjust things. Well, I think you add up all those things, 2 really good preamps, the flexibility of all the different inputs you've got, the quality of the connectors, the quality of the Apogee converters on the unit itself, lots of range, 2496, low latency for use in your host sequencer, and all built into such a beautiful unit, and MIDI control as well, and you know, a monitoring matrix for the headphones and speaker outputs. Add all that up, what would you pay for those components individually? And you start to see the value of this product, £325. It's still within the reach of even a fairly budget home studio, you know, a budget home studio. And it's certainly within the reach of any semi-pro setup. So I just, you know, I'll give it a resounding 10 out of 10. I mean, it is absolutely fantastic. And the only downside I can see is that the poor old Windows users won't be able to use it, and that's a real shame because they're missing out. And I don't know whether Apogee could bring this to Windows. You know, I mean, if they did, given the Windows user base out there, I think they'd sell 1 million units in the first year. So I hope they do bring it out for Windows. Maybe they'll, like, you know, they let it out on the market, you know, limited production run, Mac release only to see how it goes, and maybe they will bring it on for Windows later. I really hope they do, because I'd love to be able to take this in the other room and use it in some of my non-Mac machines, you know. That would be great. And to take it on location with my Windows laptop or something. I don't have a Mac laptop, just a desktops. So yeah, flawless. It's just beautiful. The only gripe I can find, really, the only gripe is that the Maestro mixer, as far as I can see, doesn't have an always on top command, you know, like to have it always on top. If I click Logic, it disappears, you know, and then I've got to go down to my dock and bring it up again like that. You know, and I mean, if I have to desperately find a gripe, that's the only thing that if there is a way to do it, I haven't found it, but I hope Apogee in an update allow you to option for that Maestro panel to be always on top. That would be good. So yeah, what a beautiful little device. Yeah, it's lovely. I love the MIDI controllers as well. They're fantastic. When Apple get it together so that song position works with Logic, you'll be able to zip up and down your timeline. That'll be great. And I've already shown it that you're working to control synths and the mixer channels, you know. So 10 out of 10 to Apogee, man. 10 out of 10. Really well done, guys. And it just shows that a great product can come, you know, not from the Far East, and you can still offer a competitive price on a really superb quality product. Unbeatable. Go out and get one today.